What will my friends think? They'll think, what an idiot. He's trying to be one of those influencers online. What a silly boy. That's the secret in communication. If someone asks me, what's the key to all your success? I'd say this phrase.
Hi, I'm Janelle, and you're listening to The Moment It Clicked. Is it really possible to feel like yourself in English? Can you truly express your passion and purpose authentically when talking about your business or project in another language? Let your curiosity guide you as we explore the journey of becoming yourself in a second language through real stories, insightful conversations, and practical tips from those who've been there. Today, I'm here with Daniel.
Great. Yeah, my name's Daniel Brook, and I'm from Australia. I'm from near a place called Gunnedah, near Sydney. I grew up on a farm with my mum and dad and my three sisters, their older sisters. And I'm now in Argentina, in Cordoba, which is like the center of Argentina. It's the second largest city in Argentina. I arrived 11 years ago, and I'm an English teacher. And basically, I've got my online business here in Argentina, in Cordoba. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. And so tell us a little bit about the process of language learning. What languages do you speak? And do you think that it's possible to be, the same person? Do you feel like yourself when you speak the different languages you speak?
Mm. Yep. So I started learning Italian was my first, no, sorry, German was my first language. I started to learn at university for the first year. And that was one of the most hardest things I'd ever tried to do in my life in terms of consistency.
Okay.
A little bit every single day is the key, and going and going and keep going, and then actually going to the country and then learning. And then after that, I learned Italian again at university, and then I went on an exchange program to Italy for 3 years. And then being surrounded by Italian and the culture, that's when I really learned. I speak Italian, German, and then I came to Argentina, where I've been here for 10 years, so I learned Spanish as well. But I started speaking Italian when I first came because I knew they could understand better than English.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay.
so they're the three languages that I speak. And um, your question is about asking me what do I feel the same
Yeah,
when
yeah.
um, I suppose I do. Yeah. When I speak German, I think I feel the same person, but obviously just a little bit limited by the vocabulary sometimes.
Yeah.
So I do feel the same person, and maybe with Italian, I can feel more expressive, more passionate, maybe,
Mm, mm.
especially because you're motivated by how they use their hands and how they um, get a bit crazy and passionate. It's like contagious. You get into that feeling, I
Yeah,
suppose. Yeah.
definitely.
But to answer your question, I think I do feel the same person over the three
Yeah.
levels. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you feel like that there was a sort of moment when it all clicked? Like for me, I sort of associate it with this idea that I feel like, the limited vocabulary, the, unable to find that expression that you are used to using in one language, maybe your first language, and then like and not being able to access that quickly, and then sort of that gap starts to get smaller and smaller, and you sort of realize that there's this moment when it all comes together. Have you felt that, or do you think it exists?
Yes, you definitely get waves of frustration and waves of feeling like you got it, the language. I remember the first time I got it when I was in Austria. I did a 1 year exchange program in Austria, in Graz, the same city that Arnold Schwarzenegger is from, Graz.
Love that.
Uh,
Love that.
and
Trivial
yeah,
knowledge.
yeah. And I went to the lake where he proposed to his wife on the rowboat there. It was very romantic. and they've got the whole shed surrounded with his posters. Anyway, sorry to go off the track there, but there was a moment when I was with my Russian friend on the exchange program. We were walking around the restaurants to get a job, and I remember he said to me, "Daniel, we're only going to speak in German," and we were doing this intensive German course. And we were so limited. We were laughing how ridiculous we were speaking, like basic babies learning a language. But we did the whole thing in German. And that realization of your mind thinking, oh my God, I was saying everything in German. And the limited German that we had learned in that 2 weeks, suddenly that morning, I spent like by midday, I was like, oh my God, we just spent the whole morning speaking in German. And that realization in your mind
Yeah.
suddenly gives you confidence. And you're like, oh my God, I spoke German. I communicated. He understood what I wanted to say. So if you can force yourself when you're learning a language, say one day, I want
Mm.
to speak completely in that language. Promise yourself, do discipline. And then
Yeah.
when you do it, that's like a huge realization in your mind, and it gives you confidence that you can do it. That realization, I can do it. And that changed everything. I still remember that day where it kind of clicked. Obviously, the next day you wake up and go, you try and understand something on the radio or the news, I know nothing,
Yeah.
but you still have those moments, those win-wins you can celebrate. And
Yeah.
that was a click moment for me, 2 weeks in Austria after arriving. Yeah.
It seems so quick. I mean, I think maybe people listening will be like, yeah, okay. I don't know if that really counts, because I don't know,
That-
maybe.
That's 1 year of studying university of German before as well. So
Okay.
1 year of so we've got 3 days a week, 1 year doing that German, and then going 2 weeks intensive course. That's when the click, just to put it in
Okay,
perspective.
okay, okay. That puts it into a perspective a little bit more into context. It reminds
Yeah.
me of with my ex-partner when I went to Argentina for the first time. I'd studied 3 semesters, so 1.5 years, something like that, something similar. And I remember arriving and thinking like, yeah, I got this. I'm all over it. And I was speaking to the his family later on, like 5 years later, they were saying, wow, Janelle, I can't believe how well you're speaking Spanish. It's really amazing. You remember that first time when you arrived, that first experience, and we couldn't understand anything you were saying, and it was so funny. And I was like, what? I thought I was speaking. I thought I was all over it. I thought that I was speaking really well. And they were like shitting all over my experience. I was so shocked because I really thought that in that moment I was expressing myself, and from their perspective they were like, yeah, I remember, we couldn't understand what you were saying, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh no. But in
So
the moment they were like, "You're speaking so well," but later on they
yeah,
said it was shocking.
yeah. So I think that yeah, then there were other moments where I really did feel like I was, I had improved and I could see it myself. But it's always nice to hear from others to say like, wow, or to realize in that situation, spending a morning speaking only in that language and saying, we did it, and
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
a realization. And I
yeah.
remember there was another moment, when my mum came to visit me in Austria as well. And I remember picking up from the airport, and she's from Switzerland, and she spoke German with her with her mum and dad. So she said, "We're only going to speak in German, Daniel." And I was like, "Really? This is weird." Is that? And this was 6 months after being there, so my German was okay, like elementary level, pre-intermediate, and but we spent the whole from the airport on the bus all the way to my student dorm. We spent the whole time speaking in German. And that realization again, you realize, oh my God, we just spent 2 hours speaking in German with my mum. That's where I can tell you, Janelle, it felt like speaking with a different person. My
Mm.
mum, it felt like I was speaking to a different person in a different language. That was a bit weird in a good way, But that was another realization where I thought, wow, I can speak German now with my mum. I'm like, great. Now when I get home in front of dad and my sisters, mum and dad, I can always speak in code. So there's all these benefits. There's all these benefits now. Like for example, I'd say to mum, Mum, make me some bacon and eggs, like in German. And
Yeah.
dad would say, what are you saying? Because dad would get jealous if I said that in English. Or my sisters would say, oh, you always do everything for Daniel because I'm the only boy. And my sisters complain. So I'd say it in German and they'd be like, what are you talking about? And mum would wait a minute before she went and started doing the eggs so the family didn't know what was going on. But there's all these benefits about speaking in German. And
That's
yeah.
hilarious. So this kind of sparks that question of speaking another language. Does it make you more creative? Does it allow you to be more creative?
It's an interesting question. I think so, definitely. Um, it had helped me after learning my first language. The second, I had to learn Italian, the conjugations. I was thinking,
Hmm.
remember, I used when I was learning German, I really hesitated. I thought, how do I do this? And what do I do? But I remember learning Italian, that first class of Italian, where I thought, no, just take it on. Don't think about it. This is the way it is. That word, you just add that and do it. Say it 5 times. Da 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 da. I remember when I first started German, I was like, why? How? And I had all these questions and
Hmm.
I hesitated and I thought about it. But then when I'm learning Italian, I just knew, no, just your mind thinks it's weird. It has no idea what this word is, but the more you say it together, and the more familiar it becomes, and the
Yeah.
easier it is, and the
Yeah.
easier you remember it. So
Yeah.
the second time learning Italian, I was quick. I was like, okay, that goes with that. Say it, bang, 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 5 times. Now I have to go home. When I get home, I'm going to open up my book, spend 10 minutes repeating those words, and then
Yeah.
write it down even before I go to bed. And
Yeah.
and I was like, bang, I had the habit quick. I was fast. The second language, I was much faster for that reason.
Yeah. I think the same thing is happening for me a little bit because now that I'm learning Italian, it's like, okay, I feel like you're not starting from scratch when you start
Yeah.
another language. For example, so you have English, my mother tongue, then I've got Spanish, second language, high level. Then I've got Italian, okay, basic level. But you're right. The questions, you don't have the same types of questions. But why? Why do they do that like that? Why is it like this? Because you've already started to understand the creativity of language, I think, the different ways that it is formulated. I guess with Spanish and Italian, we have a similar grammatical structure. And so, in a way, you're sort of just replacing the different words, sometimes really
Mm.
similar. And so you sort of already have that. I think I haven't studied German, so I'm not sure, but I know that it's very difficult in terms of conjugations as well. But yeah, the that sort of you sort of just relax and let your brain say yes, okay, that's how you do it. That's what it is. Just do it, repeat it, rinse, wash,
Yep.
repeat. Yeah,
Exactly. And the more
yeah,
you say it without thinking about it,
yeah,
the mind will adapt to it and
yeah,
learn it quick. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Just in case
okay.
anyone doesn't know, Janelle, this is a Argentinian drink, guys. It's you drink it like a tea. And just in case they're thinking, what the hell is that guy smoking?
There is that. Okay, for those who are just listening, we
Yeah.
have Daniel's holding the Argentinian mate, and he, as I do, in all of my classes, I am accompanied by my mate.
Really, in
It's
Italy, you continue.
yeah,
Good on you.
yeah, yeah. We get it shipped in, especially. No, we buy it
Wow.
online. But
I
yeah,
don't know.
it's
Yeah.
I can't live without it now. It really is truly one of those things that you only understand once you start, and yeah,
Oh, the Argentinians would be so proud of you, kid. Yeah.
definitely. And so, okay, moving to Argentina then, we've got this you've got this business and you use What do you use English or Spanish for your English language business?
Great question. I was using English in the beginning to show off my English native skills, and it was going okay. I went well, but what I've realized, speaking in the actual country of the origin is much more effective, 100
Okay.
times more effective. Um, and this is on, so also if you're doing advertising for your business, it's always better to do it in a language that the people speak, like the first language that they speak. So in Argentina, they speak Spanish. I should always do the advertisement in Spanish. Why?
Okay.
Because it's going to hit them, communicate. They're going to understand 100%. So that's a good tip. If you're doing ads for your business, always speak in the mother tongue of the country of the target audience. That's a big.
Okay.
And we've got the results, Janelle, where we compared two videos where we did ads with my Google friend, and it was 10 times more effective, the one speaking in Spanish in comparison to the English one. Yeah,
This
that's
is really interesting.
yeah. And just to answer your question, I'm going 10 times better with the videos now that I'm talking in Spanish and not even teaching English. I'm focusing on their culture.
Yeah.
Mate, they can all identify with me, and they're so proud. They love to see a foreign person, a foreigner, loving their customs, loving their culture.
Yeah.
The secret I can tell you, Janelle, now is my reaction to their things.
Mm.
Always remember, no one gives a shit about you on the camera. It's always about them. So if you can somehow connect it to them,
Yeah.
I'm always talking about Argentina. I'm never talking about me. I'm talking about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always start with my video saying, Argentina is interesting because, and they're like, what is he going to say about my
Mm.
culture? My
Interesting.
culture. I never talk about, now I know, I never talk about Australia. In Australia, we do this. Okay, that's kind of interesting. It's not to do with me. So always connect your audience, always talk about them. It's so
Yeah.
simple. Talk about them. Don't talk about you. They're not, no
Yeah.
one's interested in you. Sorry to say, no one's interested in you. But if you talk about them, that's the key. That's the hook. What is he saying about
Yeah.
me?
And so tell me, like, I think for people who are entrepreneurs who have a project of some sort and they need to go, for example, to a networking event or they have a really important meeting and they need to, in this case, speak English in order to connect with those people. I don't know. Do you think that what are some tips or what do you think? Because you go to meetings sometimes and you've got to speak in Spanish to connect with those people.
Mhm.
I don't know, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the fright or the maybe you have a little bit more confidence now, but what did you go through to get to that level of confidence?
Speaking in Spanish at a
Yeah.
meeting is
Yeah. To try and get someone's approval about a certain thing, or in order to, I don't know, to you need to get something from that meeting. It's like a strategic meeting. It's not just having a chat. It's, where you're really putting things on the line.
yeah. I suppose the key thing is understanding what they want and showing them how you can help them get that. If you can understand what they want and you can deliver, that's the key, I think.
Do you
And
think that
putting it,
language, like, your level of Spanish impacts on that?
um, no, I don't think so. No, no. To it's I see it as a benefit because I'm completely different and they're really interested in me because I'm something different with my different accent, with my different it's unique and everyone's interested in something unique. So you can see your language as something unique and you shouldn't be ashamed of it because you can always say, I'm just starting a year ago, I've just started speaking this language. So they
Yeah.
actually see you as, wow, look at this guy. He's actually not scared. they're more inspired by you. And he's starting a language and he's not scared to talk to me in my language. So it's kind of like an honor for them that you're speaking in their language, and they see it as really charming and nice of you, and even cute sometimes that you're speaking in their language and you're trying to adapt to their ways of communication. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I
Mm.
think that's such a good reminder that it's not about perfection when we're speaking. It's not about, yeah, it's not about perfection because when somebody's speaking English to me, for example, when I was in Australia and somebody, a foreigner, would ask me a question or come up to me asking for directions or something like that, and they spoke to me in their English, whatever level it might be, I wasn't like, who do you think you are speaking English? Like, you have a terrible accent. Or, like, I would never judge somebody. I would say, like, oh, yeah, let me see if I can help you. And, checking, do you understand what I mean? Should I draw a picture of the streets you need to take? How can I help you? I would never judge that person for the level of English that they had. And so then we think about ourselves, like, why do we put ourselves under so much pressure thinking that somebody
Mm.
else is judging us when
Mm.
I don't judge other people when they try to speak my language, and those people aren't going to judge me when I try to speak their language. They're going to be grateful that you're even trying. And
Exactly.
I think we forget about this, and with English, this globalized language, the way that we communicate, I think there is a bit of competition to sort of be the best and not have any mistakes. And I'm gonna have the competitive the I was gonna say advantage, but edge, the competitive edge or advantage over somebody else because my English is better. And for me, I think that I will always go back to connection. You will hear this like repeated over and over in different episodes because for me, it's all about connection. Once you connect with that person, then
True.
it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
The rest just sort of flows. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I totally agree.
And did you
Yeah.
have like, well, I like this idea also. I don't like it. I just think that it exists. But the topic of power relations when we are speaking to somebody else in a different language. So, for example, me speaking Spanish to somebody sort of puts me in a more vulnerable situation because I'm speaking my second language. I have limitations. I have less vocabulary. No matter how fluent I speak, I will always, have there will always be a difference in my accent, in these types of things. So I believe that there is a bit of like I have less power in that interaction. What do you think?
Um, less power. An interesting point. Okay. Yeah, like you're less. I, I get it that you when you're in your mother language against someone who isn't, that they're very limited. But I wouldn't say they have more power. No, I just see it as one person limited in the vocabulary they can communicate in. Um, but less power, I don't think so. Yeah. Um, and remember, there's a lot of power in listening in communication.
Mm.
So the more you listen, which is easier in a language rather than producing, trying to speak, it's actually you become a great listener, and that's the kind of secret in communication. If you can listen to someone really, then they're going to be wanting to communicate more and more, and they're going to enjoy it more because they can
Yeah.
speak. Someone's listening. So you've got the power of listening as great power because you're limited by speaking. You can use it to your advantage. You can really listen and
Yeah.
comment on that. I hope I answered your question. I've never thought about that before, so I was kind of a bit stumped. Yeah.
No, thank you. I think it's a great I appreciate your answer and I appreciate the spontaneity of it because I think, yeah, you can use that to your advantage. I think that you're right that listening is kind of like the superpower of communication. I think that that is a really good point.
One of the key things that is not very often said, Janelle, is the key. If someone asks me, what's the key to all your success? I'd say this phrase, putting myself in the other person's shoes.
Yeah.
Always. If you can do that, what do they want? What do they want to hear? That's the key. Like serving other people and giving them what they want and know your niche so well, what they want, what their problems are, what their limitations are, where they look. You got to investigate that. And once you know your niche, you can communicate to them exactly. Like, for example, I can understand you, Daniel, but I always have trouble to speak. Like, they always
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you get to step out in front of them and say exactly what they're thinking
Yeah.
if you know you're a target. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned this book that sort of changed everything for you. What's it called?
Hmm. Yeah, this book here, I've got it here. It's called Crushing It by Gary V. He's known by on YouTube as Gary V because his surname's so hard to pronounce, Vajnerchuk. But I was reading this. I was in Colombia on the beach, and this guy from USA just started talking to me. We were both sitting on sunbeds in Colombia. I think it was in Cartagena, and he was reading this book, and I was like, and he said, "Bro, this changed my life." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Can I was saving money, so I said, "Can I take photos?" And I took 100 photos of the first 100 pages, and and I read it in my hostel, the first 100 pages, and I thought, "Oh my God, this is amazing! This book." I went and bought it online for $20 after that, and I read
Yeah.
the book. And I was in Cartagena with this guy on the third day, and we're in a cafe. And I said, "Bro, I really want to do a video because this is all about doing content online and YouTube, Instagram, and how to break out of it." One thing, Janelle, he talks about a lot, which was like really hit a home for me. What will my friends think at home if I make this video?
Mm.
Daniel, you think you're an English teacher? What will my friends think at high school? What will they think of me? That was my fear, which he talks about here. That was my
Mm.
fear. What will my friends think? They'll think, what an idiot. He's trying to be one of those influencers online. What a silly boy. These were the thoughts that were in my head stopping me from
Yeah.
doing it in the first place.
We've
And
all
once I
been there.
realized that, I thought, oh, fuck it. I live once. I could die tomorrow.
Mm.
This, I lost my best friend 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And those limiting beliefs, fuck it.
Mm.
Crush it. Crushing it. It's called crushing it. Just crush it. Fuck it. You live once. You could die tomorrow. Just do a video right now. So
Yeah.
I'll go back to the story. I was in the cafe with the guy and I had no shirt. And I said, man, I can't do the video. I don't have a shirt. And I said, can I borrow your shirt? And he said, sure, bro. He took off his shirt and gave it to me. And I did this video. I'll send it to you, the video that I did 7 years ago, Janelle. So in that moment, I did my first video. I was petrified. I don't know what do I do? What do I say? But now I've got 550 videos later on Instagram with 105,000 followers now. Videos going viral. Thanks to this book and thanks to that moment where I thought, fuck it.
Yeah.
Stop those little thoughts. What do my friends think?
I had a similar experience and I'm still sort of overcoming it, I think, because I decided to record a documentary about 5 years ago of an experience that I decided to have. And I don't want to go into too much detail now, but I was petrified of what people would think about me doing that and why I had taken that decision and why I was recording it and why this and why that and I couldn't break out of it and I wasn't able to actually finish the documentary. We finished the recording of it, but it's sitting there, sort of, yeah, waiting to be unpacked again. And I'm starting to finally, through my own process of starting this business, English Creative, I'm also gaining that confidence to go back to that that experience and actually share it with people with that confidence to say, you know what, it doesn't matter if you don't like it. It doesn't matter if you disagree. It doesn't matter because it's something that I did for me that I'm happy to share with the rest of the world, and that's it. And take it
Yeah.
or leave it.
Yeah. Not doing it is failing. You're
Yeah.
always better off doing it, making the content, making it. Doesn't hurt to do it. Doesn't hurt, doesn't hurt. And one big thing that helped me a lot, I've got like a bit of a mentor guy who's also got 100,000 followers, and we meet once a week in the coffee shop. And I told him, man, I don't know what's going on. I've only got 500 likes on my video. And he said, Daniel, what are you talking about? That's amazing. Just, he said, do this exercise with me. So imagine for 1 second in this room where you are right now, imagine 500 people right now in this room with you going like this. Daniel, amazing. 500. Can you imagine 500 people in this room going like this? Daniel, amazing. I thought, holy crap. That is amazing. So imagine right now 20, you get 20 likes, 20
Yeah.
people right now in this room going, Janelle, you're amazing.
Yeah.
20, 20
Yeah.
people right there in front of you, 20 people. Holy crap, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Remember that, guys. As a little rule, you got 20 people in front of you in this room putting your thumbs up going, Janelle, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Remember that. That helped me a lot. Like, oh, I've only got 20 likes. And that will,
Yeah.
and always remember, not making it is failing. When you
Yeah.
choose not to do it, that's failing. Do
Yeah.
it. Do it. Get 5 likes. Awesome. Remember there's 5 people in front of you going, you're doing a great job. That's
It
it.
is. It's yeah, it's putting yourself out there and yeah, putting yourself out there.
Yep,
And
exactly.
it also highlights like surrounding yourself with people who are doing the same things as you.
Yep.
How do you deal with negative comments? Do you get people who
Yeah, all the time. You can't speak, go back to your own country. It used to hurt me in the beginning, but the book talks about that. Just think about that poor person suffering in his life. He's suffering, poor guy. Imagine going out of your way to abuse someone else.
yeah,
Imagine what he's feeling inside. That poor guy. He's in
yeah,
a world of hate. He's suffering. Poor guy. That's his reflection of the world. That's
yeah,
what I think. Someone who gives you a compliment, they're like, wow, their life's amazing.
yeah,
Think how lucky you are, like that you're happy, you've got things going. That poor guy's in it. He's in a rut. He's in a crack. He's in a dark place. Poor
yeah,
guy. When you get a negative comment, think about that.
yeah, yeah. Really
That's it.
interesting. Yeah,
Mm,
really interesting.
yeah.
So, thank you so much, Daniel, for your time and for coming and hanging out on this podcast with me and the listeners out there. It's really, really interesting to hear from you, hear your perspective, and also to get a little bit of insight from you into what has worked for you, how you've sort of gone from a few followers to having viral videos and using your Spanish to connect with the people who follow you. I think it's brilliant, and yeah, it's really inspiring. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Janelle. It's an honor to be on your podcast. And thank you so much. And congratulations to you. Like you're doing great things with this. And I'm really proud of you for going
Thank you.
and doing it. Good
Thank
on
you.
you.
Thank you.
Awesome. And I'm sure like you're already going great. Maybe in a year or so, imagine looking back on this thinking, look, I was at that level. Now look at me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to
lots
that.
of growth.
So thank you again. And
Pleasure.
yeah, we'll see each other on the flip side.
On the flip side.
You've been listening to Season 2 of The Moment It Clicked. Thank you so much for being here. I have a few favors to ask before you go. I'd love if you shared today's episode. You can send it to a friend, You can post it on social media. You can also write to me and tell me where you are listening from, or tell me about your favorite part. You can tag me on Instagram at English_creative_hub. That's HUB. English_creative_hub. So I look forward to receiving your messages, and thank you once again. Remember, you can catch the latest episodes, bonus content, and apply to become a guest on the show at www.english-creative.com/podcast.